Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. October is National Financial Planning Month. Financial planning, as we know it now, includes investing, tax planning, retirement planning, and basically other ways to get your finances in order and create mindful budgets to ensure a safe and secure future. Getting a step ahead of your spendings and finances is beneficial in the long run, and Financial Planning Month is the perfect time to do that. Joining us for this segment, we have Kemberley, Washington, tax analyst with Forbes Advisor, to discuss understanding the differences of healthcare savings and spending accounts, as well as taking advantage of your 401k. Kemberley, it's great to see you as always. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Thank you so much for having me.
What is a flexible spending account and what are the advantages and disadvantages?
Right, so a flexible spending account, often referred to as an FSA, could be used if you work for an employer. You can put money away from your paycheck and it goes away, of course, tax-free. And so you can use this money to, of course, pay for qualified expenses, for your medical expenses, and also for childcare expenses as well. So it's a great way to save money, but also stash some money away for these necessary expenses. And of course, you don't have to pay taxes on it.
And what are some of the advantages and disadvantages of it?
So some of the advantages, of course, you can use it for medical expenses and childcare expenses, and you're not paying taxes on it. The disadvantages, some things that you do want to keep in mind, of course, if you put the money in it, of course, you may lose it if you don't use it for certain expenses. So you do want to keep that in mind. Make sure you do some planning, some research before you stash some money away.
And the same question, of course, with a health savings account. What are the advantages and disadvantages?
Right, so the health savings account, this is something you can use if, of course, you have a high deductible health plan. So if you do have a high deductible health insurance plan, you can couple it, of course, with an HSA. Some of the advantages, of course, with an HSA, you can stash the money away. You can also take a tax deduction for it. And of course, if you don't use it within a certain year, you can use it the next year. So that's a big advantage. Again, a disadvantage, if you don't have health expenses, you may, of course, not be able to use your HSA. So you do want to keep that in mind. And it only works, of course, if you have a high deductible health plan.
So how do you choose between an FSA and an HSA?
So keep in mind, it could be a case you may have both. You know, if you work for an employer, you want to choose the flexible spending account and also want to choose an HSA, you can have both. But the way that you choose is, of course, if you are using a flexible spending account, you have a couple of dollars you want to stash away, of course, stashing away tax-free, and you don't have a high deductible health plan, you can use it. And keep in mind, it's not just for medical expenses, it's also for childcare expenses too. So you can set it up two different ways. In the event that you do have the high deductible health plan, this could be a way to actually help you with that plan as far as paying some out-of-pocket expenses with your health care.
Let's shift gear and talk about retirement. What are the first steps you should take if you are building or rebuilding your retirement nest egg?
One thing is, of course, you want to talk to your employer and see what type of programs that may be available as it relates to retirement options. In particular, of course, is the 401k plan. You can stash money away into the 401k plan. In many instances, of course, your employer would also match some of the money that you put away. Since the money is pre-tax, so meaning that it's not taxed, you also save as it relates to taxes. So it's a good option if you're trying to build your nest egg.
And what if I want to take these steps, but I'm not sure what to invest in? What are the things I need to know?
Right, so do your research. There's a lot of tools out there, of course, on the internet, of course, tools on Nasdaq website as well. So first, do your research. The second thing is, usually in many employer situations, they'll have someone you can speak to as it relates to your retirement plan. So talk to them about it and see what your options are. Usually they'll provide different diverse programs or plans rather, such as target funds or index funds, to kind of make it easier for you as a person who's saving for retirement so that you can have choices. So do your research and see what works best for you, but there's a lot of tools that surround you that you can use for resources.
How much can someone set aside in a 401k plan?
For 2022, you can put up to $20,500. If you're 50 years of age or older, you can put more money away. You can stash an additional $6,500, which will be a total of $27,000. Now, keep in mind, this is the amount that you can stash away. Of course, your employer can match more of that money for you.
And finally, Kim, for someone who may be listening and they don't have an employer 401k plan or self-employed, what options do they have to save for retirement?
Right, so they want to think IRA, so individual retirement accounts. That's one of the things you want to think of, and there are different types. There's the traditional IRA, which allows you to, of course, take a tax deduction on your tax return. Another one is called the Roth IRA. You can actually stash money away, and of course, you're not able to take the tax deduction, but it does grow tax-free. And last but certainly not least, if you're someone who is self-employed, you may want to look at what's called the SEP IRA, and that's for simplified employee pensions. And this will be for someone who, of course, is self-employed and can stash more money away into those plans.
All right, Kim, appreciate the insight as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you.